due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a day like this or a time like this, when you have decided to come to a place like this for a noble purpose. What is that? To know the purpose of Ramadan. And I will count this part of the activity and dedication that you do every day, every moment, to prove to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you meant it when you said, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and knowing yourself is the greatest knowledge of all. Knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and knowing yourself is the greatest knowledge of all. And once you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you know yourself, you will lose the fear of man, because mankind are scary. When they become rebellious, and you may stay in a gray area and you don't know which way to go. But as the Prophet ﷺ always used to open his address to the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and put in their mind, there is only one way to go if he wants the best. Asdaqul hadith, kalamullah. The most truthful news, words, conversation is the one comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And once you know him, as I said, you will lose the fear of man. But once we don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will fear man because we don't know where to go. And the best thing to prove that we are citizens of this planet, we start with what? To recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and recognize his will. We call that Islam. To be within the law of the nature. And what is the law of the nature is obedience. And Islam is all about obedience. So wherever we go, we may hear a lot. And we may see a lot. But in the end, we say, I want to remain the bodyguard for Islam. Which means, whenever the echo of the truth touch my heart, I will surrender to it. And this is a sign of a living heart. But in order for that to happen, we need to recognize what is great in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people are great because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some places are great because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and sometimes, if you remember with me, when Musa alayhi salam had the call from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he was told, "Ikhla'na alayk innaka bil wadi al-muqaddas tuwa." Take off your thongs. Not because you are holy, O Musa, but because the ground you are standing on right now is holy. And that's why you never see any of the prophets who claimed holiness for themselves. They used to say, I am the way, I am the light, I am the truth, I am the sign. And what is a sign? Something that is nothing by itself, is pointing you to something greater. And all the prophets were a sign showing us the way. And once we follow that sign, we will reach our destiny. To start with, in Ramadan, we reflect the verses of the Quran. First of all, who told us to fast? It has nothing to do with any human being. It is the one who created us, the only one who has the right to tell us what to do or not to do with our life. And he told us, "Oh, you who believe, It is only if you are a believer we should talk about fasting on the way of Islam. O you who believe, kutiba alaykum as-siyam. It is something written for you, a prescription, which means there is a healing in it. If you take it according to the law, the amount and the timing and so on. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. If you don't do it, there are people who did it. They will win and you lose. And this is your time. If you don't do it, this time will wipe you out from existence and others will come and do it. And the reason why you need to do it, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Surely, if you fast properly, you will become a righteous person. You will have the seed of piety in your system. The thing that will always make you remember one before you do or before you say. And that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The taqwa, which is the path of salvation during our presence on this planet. If we leave this world without taqwa, we wasted our time. And if we continue, how flexible the fasting is, until the ayah, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Having said all of these duties and responsibilities, not because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to make life and things difficult for you. On the contrary, to make it easy for you. And one way to make our life easy is to fast. And what fasting is all about? For us to give up the channels of life. In order to live, we need to drink. We need to eat to keep our body alive. And in order to keep life itself continue, we need to marry and meet our mates. But Ramadan said, don't do it. To give us a point, if you are ready to end life, because of order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it means life is worthless. If we don't go through it the way the one who gave life told us to go through it and be obedient. So Ramadan is all about that. And every year in the beginning, as you know, there will be, I don't call it a fight, I will just call it misunderstanding each other, due to the availability of knowledge and access to information that has no inspiration. And any information we have, if it does not inspire our soul to work hard, to win piety, we will use that information to hurt somebody else or deviate ourselves from what we're supposed to be doing. But talking about that, as I said, will not be our topic tonight, because the scholars of Islam, from the Mufti to the youngest imam, they always do their best for us to get to that unity, trying to use occasion like that. But it never happened, and it doesn't have to happen. It is something that sometimes it dies before it leaves. But once upon a time, unity was there among the Muslims. It died, and whatever happened once, it can happen again. But what is more important for us to know is to go back inside us and have the most important and the most truthful meeting, and that is a meeting with the self. This time alone in Ramadan, and right from the beginning, to say that maybe this time I will become the person, not the one who said and who was told to make sujood to Adam and he refused, but I will use him as a lesson for myself. If Iblis was told to make sujood to Adam and he refused, I was told to make sujood to Allah. Did I refuse or not? And I don't want to be the one. I don't want to be either the one who was invited by his father, who made the act of safety with his own hands, and the son witnessed the hard work and the trust. Yet, when he called him to come on board, he said, Sa'awi